My 25 female fiancé, 29 male, gave me chlamydia at 9 weeks pregnant. I, 25 female, and my fiancé, 27 male, have been together for almost 3 years. We have a 1-year-old together, and I'm currently pregnant with our second child. For past reference, I've never had an STD or a STI, so I don't know much information about chlamydia. I was clear during and right after my son was born. I went in for my first initial OB appointment and ultrasound to make sure we were good to go in the pregnancy. Last night, the results were automatically uploaded to my app that allows me to see the results as soon as they're available. In red, bold letters, positive. I spoke with the nurse on the phone and specifically asked if this STD can lie dormant. She said no, it's a bacteria infection. You can be asymptomatic for a very long time and not even know when you have it. I was cleared after my son was born, so it had to have been contracted after the fact. I have taken the medicine prescribed to me and taken necessary precautions. I have been 1000% faithful to my fiancé, and I hold my loyalty to utmost high. I love him with all I am, but please tell me if I'm understanding this correctly. This means he cheated. How would you advise I go about this? Do I trust results or him swearing he never cheated? Honestly, that is a very sad situation to be, especially the fact that she's a pregnant woman. And when you're pregnant, especially, when you're pregnant, your mental health and overall well-being isn't really always in the best state. For her to have such a bad news, chlamydia of all things, and then meaning that her partner is clearly being unfaithful, that's really sad. I hope he gets her situation fixed. Am I the a-hole for refusing to be paired up with a Down syndrome kid? I'm 16 female and I am in a special class in my high school for special needs students. It's not purely for disabled kids, but mostly for people 16 to 20 who had drug or mental health problems that led them to dropping out of school. There is one kid in the class, Daniel, 17 male, and he has Down syndrome. I have an autoimmune condition that makes me miss a lot of school because I'm in hospital and I use a cane or a walker. Our class coordinator, Brenda, likes to get us to do different activities during the day because our classes are structured differently from the rest of the school, mostly trying to get us to socialize by doing activities like board games or helping out in the school canteen. Daniel and I are the only two physically disabled students in the class, and because of this, we keep getting paired up. I hate it. He's really rude to me and will do stuff like take my cane and give it to his friends because he thinks it's funny. I have told Brenda that he won't get harassing me and I don't want to be left alone with him, but she just tells me I'm being prejudiced against his condition and lying about it because he has Downs and not a mean bone in his body. I am now refusing to do anything with him and walked out of the kitchen when we were both rostered. Am I the a-hole for this? Everyone keeps saying that people with Downs don't know how to be mean, so I don't know if this is actually discriminatory. And OP is not really in the wrong, whether the boy has some sort of condition or not. At the end of the day, if one student is being bothered, distracted, and disturbed and harassed often, they shouldn't be in the presence of the person who's doing that. And just because he has, conditions doesn't necessarily take away from the fact that this child is literally being harassed while she's just trying to do her work. And honestly, I don't know why Brenda or the coordinator or whatever the hell her name is not taking this to consideration. Everything is not always about prejudice. I mean, if her reason was just, I don't want to work with him because he has Down syndrome, then that would be a bit weird and rude to say, because how are you going to treat someone differently because they have Down syndrome? But if she has clear-cut reasons as to why and they're valid reasons as to why she's, as to why she doesn't want to work with this individual, then her feelings should be taken into consideration too. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister-in-law it's not my fault you are poor and I'm not paying for you to join the vacation? This is about my brother's wife, Hannah. My brother is military and he is gone for long periods of time. She lives off what he makes and doesn't have a job herself. Not to mention she was pregnant, but he was gone for 6 months at this point. She miscarried, but it was clear to the whole family she cheated on him. So I don't like her. I make good amount of money and is child free. There is a girls trip coming up and you pay your way. All women of the family were invited and everyone said yes but Hannah. I got a call from her asking for me to pay for her ticket so she could go to the vacation. I told her no, and she went on about us being family, that she can't afford it if someone doesn't pay for her. I was annoyed at this point and told her it's not my fault she is poor. I not paying for her to go on vacation. She started calling me a jerk, so I hung up. She's blowing up my phone and people are messaging me what happened. A commenter said, "Not the a-hole, she can get a job instead of sitting on her rear while her husband is away." And then OP replied, "Seriously, I don't know what the F she does all day. She has no kids." Am I the a-hole for not letting a stranger pick apples in my backyard without paying me? I work from home today, and a woman who I did not know knocked on my front door. When I answered the door, I was in the middle of a work Zoom meeting that I was co-leading and was a little irritated because she kept ringing the doorbell until I could answer. The woman told me she was driving by my house and could see my large apple tree in my backyard filled with big apples. She then asked if she could come into the backyard to pick them for herself to take home. I explained that it wasn't a good time as I was working. She dismissed my words and further said she wouldn't bother me, but she wanted me to let her into my back gate that was locked and she could pick the apples for herself to make jam. While I worked, I felt she was being pushy and not listening to me, so I told her again, no, it wasn't a good time again. She proceeded to interrupt my words and tell me she was driving randomly, so she may not be on my side of town again, so it worked best for her to pick them now. At this point, I'm worrying about my meeting and getting irritated, so I told her she can pick them if she gives me $50, almost to appease her or maybe make her go away. She gets very angry at my offer and starts to yell on my porch that I should give them to her for free because there is no way I can eat all the apples and they will probably go to waste or rot in my yard. She yells at me that she was doing me a favor by taking the apples and I should actually pay her. I was kind of dumbstruck at this point that the strange woman is yelling at me now for not letting her onto my private property during the workday to take things from my yard for free and getting mad for me telling her no. I again tell her if she wants to pay me, I'll let her do it, but she can't do it for free now. She ends up giving me the middle finger and huffs off to her car while telling me I was selfish and greedy. So am I the a-hole for not letting a stranger come into my backyard to pick food for free to take it home without paying me for it? Wow. Like, when I tell you guys, the audacity of some people is very, very shocking. Am I the a-hole for leaving a pregnant woman outside of her doctor's office without a ride home? I was picking up my 2-year-old son from daycare, which is in a commercial building that also has a doctor's office. When I was strapping my son in his car seat in the parking lot, a clearly pregnant woman approached me and got quiet close to where I was standing, like 2 feet from my open car door where I was bent over to buckle my son in. She asked for help with her Uber and said she doesn't speak English fluently. I spoke with the Uber driver on speaker and he was at another branch of the doctor's office in another town and he advised us to cancel and book another Uber. I offered to do this for her and canceled her ride and typed the correct address into the app for her, but she kept deleting the address then handing me the phone again. I told her I was putting the address incorrectly for her, but she continued to delete the address. I felt like I couldn't do much more for her at that point and said a few more times she needs to enter the correct address into the app. There was a clear language barrier. I only speak English and the average at Spanish, and her phone had Farsi letters on it, which, other than recognizing that I have no knowledge, I started to leave and she kept asking me to stay and help her. I told her I needed to get home and that she wasn't allowing me to help her. She got very snippy towards me as I got in my car and left. I felt bad because she was pregnant and seemed distressed about getting home, but I feel like we were at a stalemate in what I could do for her, and I was also uncomfortable with how close she approached me initially, that I was with my young son, and that she kept deleting the address when I typed it in. Am I the a-hole? I don't really say the a-hole. OP try to help the woman as much as they can. I mean, if they couldn't do farther, then it is what it is.